We're seeing this one get discussed more and more these days. I think there was a movement by Jay, and I think he tried to get some other people behind him as well to get that law changed, that lyrics, especially rap lyrics, cannot be used in a court of law against a defendant. And of course, it came up alongside Young Thug and Gunna situation because that whole RICO case that they're fighting, that's huge news. Everybody's talking about that, right? And then they start going back over their interviews. This is the internet doing the detective work that is going to happen in today's age. We all know it at this point. Let's not lie to ourselves. Let's not be naive and let's not be stupid that there are a lot of true crime stories being told in music. One thing that's fucked up is a lot of it is still going back to the power of a dollar. You take a lot of these guys that embark on those type of songs. Even I could take a big artist like Lil Durk. I could take another person like FBG Duck. Their numbers are way higher. Their views are way higher. The money that is generated is way higher when they're talking about death, when they're talking about murders, when they're talking about everybody knows controversy sells. I mean, come on. We've been saying this forever, especially in the entertainment world. If you could sit in the privacy of your own safe home and watch destruction on camera, on TV, on the internet, that's the world that we live in. That's the world that we live in. We had that breakdown of one of the reasons why I feel that 50 Cent went diamond in his first album, because people are watching like, yo, this man really might die. Let me watch this potential car crash or time bomb roll out. And the music was also good, of course, but the whole storyline behind it, this guy running around with bulletproof vests on or whatever, and we're hearing about the situations that he's having in his hood, and he just got shot 9 times and all this shit. Like, oh, I'm tuning into this. I got my full bucket of popcorn for this. We get it. And I tune into a lot of that shit too. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. 1000%. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But we know that a lot of these guys can still be inspired to put that type of shit in their lyrics because it's attractive to the fans. It's attractive to us. It garners more views and it garners more money. And who doesn't want money? Who doesn't want to be rich? Who doesn't want more views, more clout, more respect, more attention? These are like some of the roots of evil here that are very, very hard for people to move away from. You ever see The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves? And you see the things that he was ignoring in his route to trying to become this top lawyer. And he's actually working alongside the devil and doesn't even know it, right? Al Pacino played the devil, but he's ignoring his girlfriend. He's ignoring these signs and these demons to the point where the devil, his boss, Al Pacino in the movie, told him like, yo, man, forget this case. Go tend to your fiance or your wife, man. You know, she's sick. She's not doing well. And what does he tell him? Man, listen, one thing I don't want to do is miss out on this case that I could win. And then I go home and she gets better and I hate her for it. We prioritize the attention, the success, the money in front of some of these things that should be higher priority very, very often. Very, very often. And I don't want to come off like I'm demonizing people for it, because it's very, very hard to ignore the opportunities that many don't have. It's very, very hard to turn off some of these passions and these attractions that people have, especially when money is involved, right? So when you have these songs where we run them up in the millions plus because we're listening to these murders being documented, these guys are seeing the difference between when they just put out a club song or a song for the women versus, you know, FBG Duck putting out Dead Bitches. He sees the difference, and rest in peace to FBG Duck and everybody on both sides that has continued to lose their lives in this war. Even if you only look at the dollar, that's all the motivation a lot of these guys are going to need. I start to see it from 2 different sides. Going back to the original question, should lyrics be allowed to be used in court against defendants? On one side, you want to say, where's the responsibility of the artist for not self-snitching? Because self-snitching is becoming more rampant than regular snitching, at least in the music world, as far as we see, right? From the outside looking in, it damn near feels like self-snitching has trumped regular snitching, because every time I cut on the radio, I hear it, right? And we're seeing people getting indicted behind this shit. And it doesn't just have to be lyrics. It could be tweets. It could be posts. It could be interviews. Look at AR Ab's situation. right? He was found guilty. Whether he's truly innocent or not, they found him guilty and they threw the fucking book at him, right? You got people saying it's crazy. Like they gave AR Ab more time than they gave Big Meech, right? We understand the situation that AR Ab ended up in. How many people started turning back around and questioning, yo, did that come from his Vlad interviews? And I think Vlad kind of broke that down in a couple interviews, showing like, no, we're not in that paperwork and whatnot. But even his lyrics, now I did see that on the internet that they were used. You know, like he had some songs talking about being en route back and forth to his plug and people that he was running with, you know, for these transactions and shit. And these ended up being real people that they grab up and then they end up finding evidence on or whatever, like that type of shit. It's just like, how would the authorities not use this shit in court? Self-snitching is so rampant. You could even look at 6ix9ine. You know what I'm saying? You're recording a video talking about y'all put X amount of dollars on this nigga head, and then a possible shooting happened that's on camera and shit like that. It's just like, how are they not going to use that as evidence? Then we've seen these DAs take the podium and get on TV and whatnot and tell us flat out, like, social media was used. Twitter was used. A song was used. They're telling y'all. Then I have the other side of it. The other side of it, and I could use AR Ab as an example again, because I think a defense that he made in court was very, very valid, and I do agree with, which is the cultural divide. How many times do we end up in this world, in this country, within our neighborhoods, whether we're interacting with police, whether we're interacting with, you know, the opposite race, whatever, where we feel misunderstood, even just the things that we say verbally, right? It's the same thing that's going to happen in court. AR Ab had that defense, and I agree with it. I agree with that defense where it's like, yeah, my music is very aggressive. Yeah, we talk about the things that we've seen and the areas that we've come from. Don't just look at me as this bad person because my lyrics are talking about crime and drugs and gangs and beef and whatnot, because that's my experiences and that's our culture. That's our music. That's how we are. That doesn't mean that that's the actions that I'm carrying. Or if you hear me talk in certain ways, whether it be slang or aggressive, or if I curse somebody out, or the classic Bernie Mac segment, right? Where he was like, yo, black people, we put motherfucker in everything. If I end up having a judgment against me because you don't understand the way that I talk, you don't understand the neighborhood that I come from, you don't understand the type of music that I listen to, the type of lyrics that I write, that's where I would disagree. That's why I think it could be fucked up. It's the understanding of, okay, I might walk around my own neighborhood, my pants sagging all day long. That's how I dress. But if I walk up into that courtroom, I got a suit on, I got a tie on. Why? Because I don't want you to perceive me incorrectly based on what you may think is a dress code that would apply to maybe a criminal. There's a cultural divide. You think that's a criminal's dress code. I got a 9-to-5 job, but I happen to sag my jeans. That be the reality of some of these cultural divides. So to that extent, that's my fear there when you use lyrics within these court cases. Some of these people that's analyzing these lyrics may not understand them. You don't understand the slang. You don't understand the energy. You don't understand the thoughts. You don't understand the culture. So to possibly judge somebody's freedom based on something that you don't even understand, that's not right. That's not right. But on the same token, like I said, if I'm clearly on a beat saying, yo, by the way, I killed Tommy with the Tommy, and Tommy really died, and the ballistics of the shells came from a fucking Tommy gun, and I get fucking convicted based on that, then the fuck you want me to do, right?